Hello, welcome to the Valve Bounce, and yeah, it's just me today, so just quickly getting out a preview for the Darwin Triple Crown. Yeah, the Triple Crown, that's a weird one again, given there's two races, but anyway. Let's kick off with a bit of a preview, and yeah, tonight, well, as of recording, you're probably seeing this on Friday, which when the first track activity kicks off for the supercars. But the Town to Track was on tonight. Another great initiative by supercars to bring the cars to the people and keep it a bit more real. And what a great success it was for everyone, maybe except for Triple Eight, who seem to have had some overheating problems. Very interesting that they had to tow the cars the rest of the way into town, and that goes for the wildcard entry as well as the two cars. So interesting, I guess, for us Ford boys and girls. Maybe that's a good omen that Triple Eight are having problems already, or worst case scenario, they fix them and they're just damn fast as they have been. So. I guess with that Town to Track, Track to Town, there was a few stipulations that were put in about no burnouts and enforcing the 100km/h speed limit, which you know, I guess the good old fun police here in Australia are a bit more rigid than what we saw in New Zealand. So probably less of the fun activities, but still great for the people to see and touch the cars. So the Darwin round is traditionally now known as the Indigenous round, and we have seen some fantastic liveries. The teams this year, I think, mostly have done a really great job of bringing some of that Indigenous kind of painting and spirit to their liveries, and some of these sponsors have been really, really welcoming and embraced it. From what we've seen so far, Steve sent me some notes here, so we're going to rate the best and worst of what we think. And Steve has gone with his best is DJR and WAU. Probably no surprise there. But they really have done a fantastic job, both of those cars looking really great. And I sort of felt like, without being too Ford biased, but I really felt like the Blanchard racing team put in a great effort this year. And I guess in particular, if you look at Courtney's car in that really bright orange, yeah, okay, more bias. You know, it's really striking orange. They've done a really great job, and obviously the Snowy River sponsor has really embraced that, which is great to see. But in terms of the worst, Steve has singled out Frosty, as much as he loves Frosty. But yeah, the DeWalt entry was really lackluster. His words, we had to go searching to find the references on there. And I just have to endorse that. I sort of felt like the pace car or the safety car, the Porsche Taycan, had better representation on an initial glance than Team 18. So yeah, a bit of a lackluster attempt. So let's move on to the event itself, and let's think about what does that look like. So it's the Super Soft Tyre this weekend, which is very interesting. We'll see how that sort of shakes up some of the teams, whether they can switch on or switch off or maintain that tyre. You know, see whether WAU can actually keep some of the momentum that they've had, whether some other teams get to rocket back up the front, perhaps like a Penrite. It'll be interesting to see how much of the tyre will impact the round and the results. Given obviously that last year we had some really, although there had some of the regular people up the top there, we did see Frosty take a win last year. And then in some of the other placings, especially in that second race, you know, we saw some of the BJR cars that got up there. So we had a few sort of anomalies, and I think one of the Premier cars was up there as well. So, you know, we'll see how it pans out. But I did mention that this is the Triple Crown, and there's always been, let's say, a questionable or maybe confusing array of boxes to tick to be able to say you are the Triple Crown winner for this round. And supercars have come out to say that the same driver must win each of the 137 kilometre races for Saturday and Sunday. Triple Crown. Okay, you only need to do 2. So gone are the days where it was a pole and 2 races. Gone are the days where it was a bit confusing and the pole didn't count, but maybe it did. Yeah, it seems like it's just the 2 race events that will contribute to winning the Triple Crown. And with that, the only mandatory part of it will be a stop for at least 2 tyres in each of those races. So practice and the quali for race 11 kick off on Friday. So depending on when you're watching this, yep, but that's Friday. And then you've got a practice and a top 10 for race 11 and an actual race 11 on the Saturday. And then Sunday is nice clean where you've got quali and you've got the race for race 12. So pretty short, tight sort of package there, and looking forward to seeing who can rise to the top. Some of the things that we'll be looking for. So Steve has said that he's keen to see how WAU will go compared to their recent form, whether or not they can maintain it. And given that that is that super soft tyre, you know, it might cause them some grief, but we'll see how that engineering team can handle it. Team 18 as well for Steve reckons that because Frosty went here last year, and also people like Davey Reynolds, who have traditionally been really strong at Darwin. He's looking or expecting a bit of a resurgence from those 2 teams this, for that team and those 2 cars this round. And then the last thing was that he's looking for Penrite to see if they can actually find some form. Seem to have lost it a little bit lately. It's gone walkabout, if we use that term for the Indigenous round. And yeah, it'd be interesting to see whether or not some of the success they've had in the past up there, that they can bring that back on the super soft tyre. For me, obviously WAU is going to be a big one. You know, in terms of the championship, this will really kick off a strong fight for the championship if he can take some wins, if Chaz can continue his form. But then if you think about last year with some of the success stories with Frosty, but also if you look at Brock Feeney got a second and a first in last year's races. So it's worth sort of watching that team battle sort of kick off between him and Brown. Personally, I think that Brown he's already beaten his teammate and he's just going to continue that domination. But, you know, there's always things like he's been off racing NASCAR. You know, has it diluted his focus? I think him and Chaz were racing in XL a few weeks back as well. So, well, good to see whether or not that impacts Brown or whether he just continues the dominance. Because, from my opinion, I think Brown's already gotten on top of Feeney, and it'll stay that way for the rest of the season. So that sort of concludes a nice, short, sharp session here in the preview for the Darwin round. As per usual, thank you for all our recent followers, likes and comments. We really appreciate it. And it's been great sort of bringing you some of these updates and talking with you in the comments, good, bad, or otherwise. I'm heading off on holidays, so the next few videos you see might just have Stephen around. So really looking forward to my holiday where hopefully I should be able to bring you some content with some really cool museums. So where I'm going, I'm hopefully make a few videos with some really cool cars. But with that, I'll catch you next time. Thanks for joining us. See you later.